Hi. My name is Judy. I am a virtual assistant of V3DX Studio. If you're watching this video, it means you're an artist, and it also means you work in ZBrush. Most artists don't want to waste time on the technical part. Their goal is to create models in a short time. But how to do this when there are hundreds of buttons and sliders in the ZBrush program? Plugins. Let's look at a new plugin called Smart Modeling, version 2. This plugin was created to facilitate the work of artists in ZBrush. On the main panel of the plugin, we see a large turntable button. This button automatically sets your model to the center of the viewport, spin cycles to 10, spin frames to 360, and presses turntable. This function is very useful when we are sculpting the main shape or when we want to present our model. At the bottom of the plugin, we see a radio split screen button. This is much more convenient than a slider, as it is better visible. Automatic alignment of the model in the center of the viewport has been added to both modes of this button. Smart primitives. Why we call smart primitives? These primitives differ from the standard ones in that they are immediately added to your list of subtools. The size and position of the primitive depends on the size and position in space of the selected subtool. If you select a certain area on the mesh with a mask, and then click on the primitive, it will appear in the place marked with the mask and its size will depend on the size of the marked mask. ZModeler is one of the best tools for 3D modeling. You no longer need to search for the necessary functions in the pop-up menu every time. All the main functions can now be set to keyboard shortcuts. This will speed up the modeling process. And the new icons will help you better understand what the modeling functions do. Mesh has been slightly changed. The Move function is installed on the edges. The Retopo modeling button is awesome for creating basic shapes. This button turns on dynamics, sets dynamic smooth subdiv to 0, dynamic thickness to 0.02, uses extrude. Snap is disabled. And it all works very well. Polygons can be directed in any direction. If you have created the necessary shape and want to work with thickness, just apply dynamics or disable it and use the thickness or Mesh tool. In most tools, polygroup order is set by default, since this is the most commonly used target. You can change this at any time. In the Retropo tool, snap to the surface is enabled. Why did we separate some of the tools? Let's figure it out. Mask single poly marks only one polygon per one click. Use this tool to select the desired number of polygons that you want to work with and press Smart Gizmo. The mask will be automatically inverted. 3D Gizmo will turn on. The Go to a Mask Center function will work. With just one click you get a gizmo in the center of the selected polygons, and then you can use Extrude with the Control key pressed, Scale, Move and do all the features available for Gizmo. Snap Tab. Only 2 smart buttons. The first button merges visible subtools and automatically switches to this new tool. This button enables transpose. You can use transpose to show the exact location for the snap and split button. Switches from a merge tool back to the previous tool, and steps from one end of transpose to the other. Z-Sketch Plus. Only 2 smart buttons. The Z-Sketch button will automatically add Z-Sphere to your project, activate Z-Sketch, Symmetry, and a lazy mouse, and also set the brush size to 15. This button will do everything necessary so that you can simply create sketches. The Z-Sketch to Mesh button automatically enables the Make Unified Skein function. Then, adds the resulting mesh to your project list. And for convenient operation, Furniture is used with certain settings. Let's look at the Detail tab. Smart Divide has an amazing non-destructive divide function. While increasing the levels of the divide, your model is smoothed out, but its shape is not lost. It's just magic. Smart Details button uses morph technology and it can enhance the detail of the entire subtool with a single click. Each click will take into account all the received details and strengthen even more. Do not use this function with a mask. The mask may damage your model. The Smart Details brush allows you to enhance details on the selected part of your model. This brush is also based on morphs, So when you hold down the Alt button and draw, you can roll back the details made by this and the previous button. The Mask Details button uses the reverse layer method. Apply the mask to the desired area of the mesh and press. The increase in detail will only be on the selected area. We have included a smoothing button for convenience. It can be put on hotkey, the Extract and Boolean tab. We see a slider that is slightly different from the usual slider used to set the number of polygons. The fact is that artists often do not use thousands or hundreds of numbers. If you listen to their conversations, you will hear words like low poly, mid-high poly, high poly. The number of polygons is very approximate. Therefore, the solution was to create a slider with multiple values. Below is the Smart Extract button. It contains a rather long script that includes the work of ZBrush 3 times with different settings. Also, this button automatically turns on the dynamics and live Boolean. If you want to perform Boolean operations, please select the necessary action in the Subtools menu, by default, Addition, Subtraction or Intersection. Choose your thickness and click the Make Boolean Mesh button plus. If you do not want to perform Boolean functions, you can work with the resulting mesh. It is very convenient to model weapons or armor. Dynamesh Extrude Tab. Here we see several presets for Dynamesh. You can set hotkeys. Also in this tab there is a Smart Dynamesh Extrude button, which allows you to get good extrude or holes. This function should only be used with Dynamesh. The Brush Creation tab. There is only one smart button. Select the set tool from which you want to create a new brush. Position the camera angle in the viewport as you like and press the button. That's all. You have just created a new VDM brush. Increase the resolution of polygons on your set tool to get a better result. Clothing tab. There are only 2 presets to create a fabric simulation. Preset number 1 inflates the mesh, preset number 2 creates gravity. You no longer need to configure this tool every time to get such results. For more control, a clothing brush has been added that automatically turns on thick skin, setting the thickness value to 20. It's amazing that this brush can also create emotions on your character's face and change beyond recognition. Let's talk about Auto Retropo. Now, you can control this process. The approximate number of polygons depends on the slider, which is slightly above the button. Set the required number of polygons, then mask the areas on your model where you want to make additional polygons and increase the resolution, and press the Smart PG button. As you can see, the marked areas have turned pink. Your model is ready for Auto Retropo. Press the Auto Retropo button, and the adaptive Auto Retopology process will start. This function does not always work perfectly, especially with complex models, but this process will save you 90% of the time. It is better to do the retopology of small complex details, such as a character's face, manually. Subtools. The first smart button is called Hide Subtools. Set a hotkey for this button, and when you hover the mouse over the subtool, press, your subtool will become invisible. It's very simple, isn't it? The next button helps you to unmask all subtools in your subtools list. This is very useful when you are manipulating a large number of subtools. The Group All button. Sometimes we need to set just one polygroup in each subtool. This smart button will do this automatically in all of your subtools. That's all. Thanks for watching. Use our amazing plugin and create 3D models with pleasure.